Hey guys, it's Raul again, and today I'll be sharing with you my January reading update. I figured because in 2021 I'm not planning on doing too much reading, or at least as much reading as I have in previous years, I wasn't going to do kind of a, wrap-up video and a TBR video and a currently reading video and split those up. I figured I would just do everything all at once and talk to you guys about the books that I read in the previous month, the ones that I'm currently in the middle of, and then the next book that I'm planning on picking up as soon as I'm done with my currently reading. I feel like for me it's just going to be a better format to just kind of lump everything all together at the end of the month and share those with you guys. In the month of January I completed 2 books, the first one being the On Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. This is the first novel that I have read by Christina Lauren, and I absolutely loved it. This is an adult contemporary romance novel, and I have kind of come to the realization that I really enjoy adult contemporary romances a lot more than I do YA romances. I don't know why YA romances sometimes really annoy me. I think it's because the characters are a lot younger and they just seem to be a little bit more immature in a lot of their romance things and how they view romance and how they deal with certain things. So adult contemporary romance I feel I'm enjoying a lot more. So I really enjoyed this one. This is more of a comedy. It's got more, it's an enemies to lovers type story, and it follows our 2 main characters, Olivia and Ethan. Now Olivia has a twin sister who is getting married, and the day of the wedding everybody at the wedding ends up getting food poisoning except for Olivia and Ethan, because they have certain dietary restrictions and ended up eating something else than everybody else that was at the wedding. So everybody gets poisoned and is very sick, and Olivia's sister is unable to go to her honeymoon because she is really into winning things and raffles and stuff. So the honeymoon essentially is free. It's part of a package that she had won, so somebody needs to go and claim this package. So she decides, with her sister being a twin, that she would have Olivia go in her place and take Ethan with her, pretending to be her husband. Now the whole kind of situation is that Ethan and Olivia absolutely hate each other, and they have for a very long time, and it's just obviously not going to be a dream vacation for the 2 of them as they go off pretending to be this married couple, and a lot of things ensue. I mean, this plot synopsis alone, that something hilarious is going to happen throughout. The bickering between the 2 main characters is absolutely hilarious, and really enjoyed how Christina Lauren wrote this conversation, this dialogue. I loved how they were able to just give us these 2 characters that felt so different, and the misunderstandings and everything that were going on between the 2 of them, and how they kind of ended up, solving certain things. Obviously, it is an enemies to lovers kind of situation, like I mentioned before. So there's, romance that develops in there, obviously, and I really ended up enjoying this. I thought it was hilarious. My wife read it before I did, and she absolutely loved it, and I had to pick it up as soon as she was done with it, because I had heard a couple of years ago about this book. It had been floating around BookTube, and a lot of people were really loving it, and I knew that it sounded like something that I was going to enjoy, and I really ended up enjoying it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars just because after 2020, it was such a great way to start 2021 with such a funny, lighthearted kind of novel that doesn't take itself too seriously. It did deal with some heavier topics here and there, but for the most part, it was very funny. It was very lighthearted. It was like you were reading a rom-com, and it was just so great and funny and light and awesome. If you guys enjoy romantic comedies and that kind of thing, I highly recommend you guys check this out. Then in February, I also completed The Most Beautiful Girl in Cuba by Chanel Cleaton. This is the 4th book in the Cuba saga by Chanel Cleaton. I received an ARC in exchange for my review. This book doesn't come out until May 4th, unfortunately. So this is all going to be spoiler-free. I'm going to keep it as minimum as possible. I'm going to eventually do another video talking a little bit more in depth about this novel. But this was amazing. Like I mentioned, it's the 4th book in the Cuba saga. The Cuba saga kind of follows this one family. Like, there's this one family, the Perez family, that is in all of these books. The first 2 books follow them more closely, but the 3rd and the 4th book, they have people from the Perez family, but it does not necessarily follow the Perez family. This 4th book has 3 different perspectives, so you have 3 different women in Cuba in the late 19th century, when Spain is attacking Cuba and they're at war with Cuba, and kind of everything that ensues, them trying to find help from the United States to kind of win the war against the Spanish and everything that's going on. You have these three women, one who is a reporter back in New York, who is kind of reporting on these situations that are going on in Cuba and with the United States and with Spain. And then you have two other women who are in Cuba themselves. One of them who is a member of the Perez family, who again is kind of the underlining family throughout the series. And she is escaping kind of her situation where she is with her daughter, and she's kind of trying to seek refuge in this chaos. You have another woman who as well is in the prison, and was taken prisoner because she refused to have a relationship with one of the military men that were part of the Spanish military. So she was thrown in prison just because she didn't want to have a relationship with this soldier. And then you have these three stories that kind of intertwine how these women meet, how they affect each other's lives and everything. And it was, again, absolutely incredible. Every single one of these books in this series I've given 5 stars. This one was no different. I feel like this book definitely heightened the tension with everything that was going on as far as the war between the Spanish and the Cubans. It felt very intense at a lot of times, a lot of uncertainty. You weren't sure if these women were going to have their happy endings in the end or not. And everything, just like I said, felt very uncertain throughout the entire novel. It was beautifully done, beautifully written. I realized after in the author's notes that the author mentions that one of the main characters is actually based on a true character as well. So not only do you get these true events that are happening throughout history, but you do have one of the characters who is also based on an actual person, which I absolutely loved. And again, if you guys have not checked out this series, this one you can read kind of as a standalone, because unlike the first 2 books where they're kind of, you should read book 1 and then book 2, books 3 and 4 you kind of read in whatever order, because they don't really follow a set storyline one after the other. So you can read books 3 and 4 in whatever order you like. Moving on to the books that I'm currently reading. I'm currently in the middle of Middlemarch by George Eliot. I mentioned in my books I want to read in 2021 that this is a book that I wanted to kind of put by my nightstand and slowly pick at throughout the year, and I have been reading a chapter or 2 every night, so I've gotten about 90 or so pages into this novel. I'm absolutely loving it so far, so I feel like after I'm done with a couple of the other books that are on my immediate TBR, I think I'm going to just sit down and focus on this one on its own, because I'm loving it so much that I don't want to continue to read just 1 or 2 chapters every night. I really want to delve into this one a lot more, because I'm just really enjoying it. But so far I'm about 90 or so pages, like I said, and really loving it so far. And then I'm also currently listening to the audiobook of The 10th Girl by Sarah Faring. I'm about 175 pages or so into this one. This is a YA psychological mystery or so that follows this remote school in Argentina and this new teacher that goes to teach at this new school. It's very exclusive. There are only 10 girls that get admitted into the school every single semester. And apparently there's something special about this 10th girl, because there are only technically 9 girls in the school, but there's supposed to be a 10th girl. And there's this mystery revolving around this 10th girl that nobody really wants to talk about. Every time that the teacher asks about this 10th girl, people kind of, beat around the bush and don't really want to answer things directly. So far it's really interesting. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm hoping to finish this one very soon in February before the audiobook expires from the library. But yes, really enjoying this one so far. And then today I also started Home Is Not a Country by Sarah Elio. This is a YA story that's written in verse. I received an arc of this as well. This one comes out, I believe it's March 2nd. So I'm going to definitely be reviewing this one sometime very soon, before the release date of this one. But I'm really enjoying this one. This one was blurbed as, if you liked The Poet X, you are going to love this one, because again, this was written in verse, and I'm really loving this one so far. I'm hoping to get through this one very quickly, because again, this is written in verse, so you read it a lot quicker. But I'm really enjoying the story so far. I'll get into more details and stuff later on when I do my review on this one. And then the next physical book that I am planning on picking up in the month of February is going to be Stormcaster by Sydney Williams Chima. This is the 3rd book in the Shattered Realms series. I'm most likely going to start this one either today or tomorrow. Hopefully I can get into Deathcaster, the 4th book, sometime this month. But this month I'm starting a new job. I'm working within the same company and transferring into another department. So I'll be doing a lot of training and things. So I'm not very hopeful on me finishing this book with enough time to start the next one, but hopefully I can get through the entirety of this one, because again, I have the entire month to do that. But yes, really loving the series so far. I don't really want to focus on other physical books until I'm done with the Shattered Realm series. So yes, picking up Stormcaster either today or tomorrow, and then immediately after that I'm picking up Deathcaster, and we'll see where that goes or how far I can get into that book. But so yeah guys, that is it for my January reading update. Comment down below, let me know what books you guys read in January, which ones you most enjoyed, what you guys are planning on reading in February. And before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe. I post videos every Tuesday and Friday. Thank you guys all again for watching, and I will see you all next time.